Board of Supervisors meeting to order, July the 16th, 2019. And this time, I call on Ms. Adams to read the handicap accessibility statement.
It is the intent of this board that all persons attending this meeting, regardless of handicapping conditions, shall have the opportunity to participate. If anyone needs assistance, please let us know.
Thank you. Next, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance, and immediately following the Pledge of Allegiance, we will have our invocation by Mr. Hogan. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to come together to do the work of our community and of our county. And we pray for your guidance and your wisdom, that you just direct us, and that everything that we say and do here tonight will be pleasing to you and to the betterment of our citizens in this county. Be with those who are traveling in the storm outside. Keep them safe. Those things we ask in Jesus' name.
Amen. Next, we have the setting of agenda. Anyone have any items to add, Ms. Adams?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any supervisor? If not, then we'll move right on into citizen public comment period. This time is provided by the board to allow citizens the opportunity to address the board on issues of importance to the citizen. No individual citizen shall be permitted to address the board for more than 3 minutes. We'll have the Mayor, Paul Harvey. We'll change things around. Oh, excuse me, I got lost that.
I'm Paul Harvey. I'm at 168 First Street in Appomattox. I'm actually here on behalf of the Appomattox Railroad Festival Committee and Board. I know y'all are voting on the invoice tonight, and I'm just here to thank y'all for your generosity again. Without the sponsorships of everybody, and especially Hanover County, this event would not happen. So I'm just here to thank y'all for your consideration again. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank the mayor for taking on another duty of chairman of this.
You're right.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak to the board that failed to sign up? Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Joy Beverly Bagby of 438 Oakley Avenue in town. And in the interest of keeping to the time limit, I'm going to read the email that I sent to Gary Shanberger this morning. I'm representing the neighborhood of Oakley Avenue, Confederate, Lucy Street, Martha Street, and Patricia Ann Lane. We have been dealing with vultures in our area for several years. Some years are worse than others. I have photos of them on our rooftops, on our decks, and our yards throughout the neighborhood. I have seen them in the road and witnessed vehicles having to stop because they would not move. Our backdoor neighbor had to cut down a tree that died because they roosted in the tree. Last year, we built a new deck and refurbished the existing deck with fresh white paint. We would awaken to find a dozen or more of them on our deck and pool walls, turning things over, popping floats, and leaving extra excrement that we would have to clean on a daily basis. I had to repaint the deck railings several times. They also damaged the seal around the sunroof on my car. I have heard they can severely damage roof shingles, which can be very expensive to replace. We have tried scaring them away with our golden retriever, our voices, horns, and general harassment measures. Nothing has discouraged them. Our neighbors have tried several tactics as well, and each year they return. So I contacted the USDA Wildlife Office in Richmond, and a representative graciously agreed to meet some of us and hear our concerns and advise us. He told us that the birds are federally protected, which we knew, but their office has jurisdiction to handle the problematic issues with the birds. Unfortunately, because they are a government office but not federally funded, having them deal with the disbursement of the vultures is costly, to the tune of approximately $2,600. I have a copy of the service agreement which outlines the specifics of the process that I can share with you, and I did bring that with me tonight, a couple of copies for you. Exacerbating the problem of vultures is that a feral cat colony has taken residence in the woods next to Martha Street, and the animal warden has been made aware, and there are several problems she has encountered in the process of removal. I can go into more detail with question of that. At this point, we have done all we can do to solve the issue, but need help from our governing bodies. And that's basically why I'm here this evening, to just start the process of getting your support and helping us figure out what we can do at this point. We've done all we can. So thank you so much for hearing my concerns tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Evans.
I told someone before the meeting, I read the email, that is a shot shell that's made just for chasing buzzards on blackbird. And it fires out of a shotgun and it goes over 60 yards, explodes. Doesn't do any damage. You can probably buy them in a local gun shop and get them. The only thing you would need is permission from the town to fire in the town. But it works very effectively. I've seen it used before. You know, I understand, and I do not know that you probably can get a permit to kill them, but I don't know about that. But this is a good budget. It will chase them after 2 or 3 days. They'll move on.
Ms. Allen, would you be so kind to contact Mr. Schellenberg?
Yes.
And just reveal just what Ms. Gadd expressed.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? Any more? Thank you, Ms. Gadd. Yes. Ms. Spiegel.
I just wanted, and I appreciate y'all's comments, I just wanted to reiterate. I'm Mary Hugh Spiegel. I'm 129 Pine Street in town, and I'm speaking with permission on behalf of my daughter, Teresa Spiegel. She resides at 234 Patricia Ann Lane, which is the Jamerson Townhomes. And there is speaking on her behalf, there's a large presence of the buzzards around those townhomes. And they walk on the roofs, and they pick at the garbage cans, which might become unsecured. And my daughter reported that they were on top of her HVAC system in the back of her townhome. And they have picked the insulation tape loose. They've also walked on her car, on her vehicle, and have left some terrible scratches on the tank. So I'm just backing up what Ms. Beverly said. And there is a serious problem in town. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else cares to address the board?
I mean, if I could, Mr. Chairman, ask Burley, have y'all as a town done anything to address this?
Not recently. Watkins, I think a long time ago, there were some complaints, and Jeff Elder shot some guns, the things you were describing off, and they would leave for a little while and they would come back. So he, you know, I don't know what he can do.
Mr. Chairman, obviously, I think we ought to turn it over to Jeff Elder.
Don't tell him I said that.
You gave him a job.
That's pretty good. Anyone else like to address the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would like
Ms.
to
Allen.
add to that, I appreciate Ms. Backby contacted me this afternoon, and she did send me a copy of the email, which you have a copy of it in front of you. This is really the first we've heard about it, so I've not had the opportunity to talk to the animal control officer. And once we do that, we may have some other remedies that can help you with the problem.
Thank you, ma'am. Any others? Well, moving right on into our agenda, we'll go under action items, which is item number 2, Appomattox River Festival Special Event Application. Attached for our review is a letter from Paul Harvey, President of the Appomattox River Festival, requesting permission to use the following county properties on Saturday, October 10th, and Sunday, October 12th, and Sunday, October 13th, during the 47th Annual Historic Railroad Festival. Courthouse Square, county and school parking lots, and the sidewalk in front of the courthouse. Staff has reviewed and approved by the necessary people on this. Floor is open for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
And there's courtroom park wasn't on the application, is that because we now go through the park foundation board to get that property? Is that-
Yes.
Okay. Just
And we did approve that at last Monday night's meeting.
Just want to double check to make sure we didn't leave something late. Thank you.
Very good. Any other discussion? Is there a motion to approve or deny?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion we approve the special event application for the 47th annual Historic Railroad Festival.
Motion been duly made, is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Unanimous vote. Thank you. Next, we'll go into consent agenda, which encompasses bills, minutes, supplemental appropriations, line item transfers, and fund transfers. Any item on the consent agenda shall be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member prior to the vote on the consent agenda. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered by the board individually in order in which they were removed from the consent agenda immediately following consideration of the consent agenda. Does everyone have time to review and digest? Mr. Hatt.
Since I have a question, can I move 191228?
Okay. Oh, yes.
I just have a question.
Okay. That's item 11 under there.
I don't know.
Okay. Any other issues, concerns, thoughts? Is there a motion then to approve the consent agenda minus item 11, 19/1228?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, have a roll call vote. Mr. Moody? Aye. Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Hogan?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Also vote aye. Now, we'll go back to 1228.
I just was gonna ask Susan, that 25,000, it says for special projects, is there anything designated for it, or that's just normal what we fund them every year?
That is the annual payment that you make to the EDA as an economic development incentive to Kojana.
To who, excuse me?
Kojana. And that payment was actually approved by the board, I believe it was last month's meeting, and we just need to appropriate it back to that line
Okay.
to supplement.
Okay. Is there a motion then to
Who
approve?
we adopted?
The second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call. Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Hogan?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Mr. Latchney?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I actually do have one item. As you know, we have an agreement with the Lynchburg Humane Society to manage our animal shelter. We had a meeting with them. The way our current agreement is written, it's an annual agreement with a 6-month notice provision. That 6-month notice was coming due, and Lynchburg, the Humane Society asked us, would it be possible to just, instead of having to renew this contract every year, just make it a continually renewing with a 6-month notice provision. So in other words, we don't have to keep coming back and renewing it. Either party can terminate with 6 months notice, but short of 6 months notice, it will just be a continual agreement. And then that way, we're not constantly every year having to deal with an extension of the agreement. So I drafted up a small addendum simply stating that there would no longer be an expiration term on it. It would just maintain the 6-month notice provision. The Lynchburg Humane Society has already signed this, and so what we would need from the board is a motion authorizing the county administrator to sign it as well. So really all it does is takes out the end date and keeps it a rolling 6 months, if that makes sense.
Discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hogan?
what happens if they change their price?
Well, anything's gonna take a 6-month notice.
Okay.
So if they wanted to change their price August 1st, they'd have to give a 6 months notice. And then we would have the opportunity of either saying yes or no. We don't know.
Ms. Adams?
May I just, we are making semi-annual payments, so that would overlap to where we could make that adjustment as well.
Any other discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
It's actually a motion to authorize the county administrator to execute the amendment.
Haven't heard that, is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? I will second. Further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I reluctantly.
Okay. 4-1.
No, I voted aye.
Oh,
I
did you?
said I reluctantly.
Oh, reluctant, excuse me. Okay, Ms. Allen.
Yes, sir. I have several items in the county administrator's report that I'd like to bring to your attention. First of all, the high school renovation committee, we have a date scheduled for July the 23rd at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we should be in a position to provide a report back to the board after that meeting. Also, the joint meeting with the town is scheduled for Wednesday, August the 14th at 6:30 p.m. And that location is to be determined, as well as the setting of the agenda, which I will send out for approval prior to that meeting. Cortland Park Foundation Board, did all of you receive the invitation to the park dedication? No? Okay, it's scheduled for Friday night at 6 o'clock. And it will be at Cortland Festival Park. We will have the dedication ceremony as well as unveiling of the donor plaques. And then afterwards, the library will be sponsoring a free movie, and it's Shark Week, so the movie is The Meg. So that's all I know about the movie, it's about a shark. But anyway, it's free to the community. So bring your chairs, your family, your friends. We would be serving snow cones and popcorn and bottled water, so that will be free as well. So everybody come out and see that, as well as attend the park dedication at 6 p.m. Also, the reassessors will be here next month to provide an update on the sales study and the finalization of the reassessment that was performed. Senator Peake is coming next month at 5:30 to meet with the board, and the constitutional officers are invited. So if you have any questions, concerns for Senator Peake, have those ready for that meeting. Also, you have the information before you for the VACO meetings. If you could contact staff if you're interested in attending. The Facilities Committee has a meeting scheduled with Carver Price Foundation Board. Well, we're in the process of coordinating dates for that meeting. Once we meet and finalize the terms in the lease, and if it does not change, the board will have that on the next agenda for approval. You've got an agenda for the official summit before you, and you also have a report that Mr. Rourke passed out, and that's a comparison report to the Hanover facility and the Concord facility, and he is positioned to answer any questions if you have any that you would like to ask him this evening.
Any questions from any member? Being done, go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the county administrator in regards to the report? Okay, here now, we'll move on. Reports and informational items. You have before you items 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. I'll talk about this VACO County Officials Summit is August the 15th. Please let Ms. Phelps know if you'll be able to attend. And Ms. Adams is already hitting on the Corporate Festival Park dedication event. Okay, any questions on those items? Hearing none, we'll go right into supervisor concerns. Oh, wait a minute, prior to that, excuse me, I apologize. I'd like to say we have Mr. Mark Thomas, Southside Electric Company, here with us tonight. And good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for coming to visit. Anything you wanted to express?
No, just here to visit, and I think the clerk gave all of you a copy of our July magazine. We profiled the park and the museum, and I hope that helps to bring some tourists to the county and spend some dollars with them. So, but thank you. We're always glad to serve our members of the county.
Amen. Thank you very so much. Oh. Let's see. One more is that. Is that all? Okay. Okay, we'll engage in supervisor concerns. Mr. Moody.
I'm not tonight, sir.
Mr. Abbott.
Another thing.
Mr. Hogan.
I had one constituent comment. I know we just did the 6-year VDOT plan on the rural Rustic roads 2 months ago. But I've got a request from a neighborhood to consider paving their road. It's Hawk Lane off of Rocks Church Road. It's not a very long road, about 0.3 of a mile, dead end. Currently dirt, and they're requesting consideration for that road to be paved. I told them that we kind of missed the cutoff for this year, but I know sometimes they have leftover funds at the end of the year that maybe they can't do a long section of road, but it might be enough to do a short section. So if we could let Mr. Brown know about that concern, and see if they can, if there's anything they can do.
You know if they performed a traffic study on it?
I don't know.
They'd have to do the traffic study to see if it conforms.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Just have to go check in on that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Miller.
I have none.
I have none either. And, gentlemen, we got 9 minutes before we can go into a public hearing.
I think that closed session item won't take longer than 9 minutes.
I think so.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Rourke on the Hanover comparison to the Concord?
Mr. Rourke can do his presentation, we just can't open the public hearing until seven.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just, the public hearing can't start till 7, but that doesn't mean you can't give the overview before 7.
You want to do something else?
In another direction. I've got a rezoning petition, RZ 190289, Thomas and Ken Culver. They want to conditionally rezone land at the corner of Double Bridges, Homer Springs, and Chilton, right there, from A1 to conditional B1. They submitted a proper statement that eliminates all but 6 uses, permitted uses within the B1 zone district. They eliminate all of the conditional uses, so those 6 uses would be the only uses allowed. What they want to do with the property is they want to have a meat and produce market on the site. They want to utilize, the site is about 8 acres. They want to utilize about 4 acres of the site. Other than that, I'll take questions or anything else.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hogan.
I'm just curious, number one, why selling meat and produce is not a agricultural, unless they don't raise it, I guess. So that's why I would
If
put
it was
them
part of
at
the farm,
81.
it would be considered part of the farm operation.
Okay. And my other question was on the 6 things they didn't proffer out. One of them is automobile repair service.
Yes.
So what's that got to do with selling meat and produce?
That was a discussion among the planning commission and the petitioner, and they kind of went back and forth over the potential uses, and I think it kind of stayed in there out of flexibility for the site.
Is that something that the owners?
The owners wanted it in there.
So does it want to run a repair shop or a butcher shop?
Well, they're asking for a butcher shop, but they allowed themselves some flexibility with those 6 uses.
Is that for them or someone else?
It would be whatever, those 6 would be the zoning uses allowed on that piece of property,
Whether they own it or not?
whether they own it or not. If they wanted to add any new uses or change the uses, they would have to come back and amend the zoning. So say they wanted to put, a contractor yard there. That's not on the permitted use, it's not one of those 6, so whoever that was, it was me or whoever, would have to come back through the process and amend the proffer statement to allow that within the zoning district, because it's been eliminated, it's been removed from the list.
Ms. Mill, you can say.
I also say, in reading, the report, from staff, they proffered out everything in the conditional use section of the B1 district.
That's right. Only those 6 uses would be allowed.
Proffering out conditional uses is sort of meaningless because you gotta come to you guys anyway, so.
Any other discussion on any topic right now? We got T-4 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, maybe Mr. Wall could enlighten me on the map, and maybe it'll be done during the permit presentation, but which, I think the application said that the Talberts were adjacent property owners.
Oh,
The Talberts, the applicant,
Culverts are across the road.
so which lot are they? If I'm looking at this map,
They're the opposite side of the corner, the opposite
They're on the
corner
outside of Huntington Springs.
of Double Bridge, that corner of Double Bridge and Honey Springs.
so they're parcel 4420?
Yes. And another parcel below that that's off the map.
Okay.
And then the Faulkner, Mr. Faulkner owns, I think that's 258. And Mr. Faulkner was at he spoke in favor of petition at the planning commission.
All right, that's my next question. And in 4501 across Double Bridges Road,
I believe that's Fleshman.
was there any opposition to the planning commission? Okay.
And I've received no complaints either, or opposition from the comments that I've received from citizens in my district. They're quite favorable and look forward to having such an establishment in the community.
And that reflects the phone calls I've received as well.
Okay, thank you.
okay, T-3 minutes. It'll take us that long to get back out here and take. So, go on to closed session. Oh, excuse me, public hearing. Can't do that to 7 people.
No.
Nothing else we can do this. I was anxious to get in closed session. I know one thing is that
What's that?
you were, on this, Board of Equalization. You need the names by August meeting or?
No.
No.
If the board wants to consider those appointments in August, we can.
Can you tell us again what the requirements are? They have to be in certain fields?
I've got a copy of that with your newsletter. Right there. If you go down to it's Organization of the Board of Equalization, and paragraph 3 under that. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I've asked those people and they all said no.
We'll have to set the fee for that as well.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So the entire board doesn't have to be one of these people, just
30%.
So if there were 3 persons voting.
one person? Okay.
All right, I got 7 bills.
All right.
We'll open this public hearing. RZ 19-028-89 Thomas and Kenneth Torber. And you've already heard the statements, in regards to this from our county planner. Is anyone here who'd like to address this that is for this? Anyone here against it? I didn't take long.
Anyone care?
Yeah. Well, I'll wait a minute.
Yes, Mr. Work, a question while we're waiting?
Yes, sir, Mr. Hogan.
So just from my personal knowledge, because this came up on another rezoning question several months ago, why is this one not a spot zone?
Basically, spot zoning is when you zone somebody that you give them something that nobody else is gonna be able to get. So you basically, it's like zoning your buddy and nobody else around you would be allowed to. It's not spot zoning when you create a new zoning district in an existing district. That doesn't make it spot zoning. Basically, what spot zoning is a discriminatory zoning where you discriminate in favor of one person, and that's not what
So
this
the
is.
last situation, we had a zoned area where they wanted to change what was right in the middle. And that's what made that a spot zone.
Well, the Virginia Supreme Court has basically said it's, under modern Virginia law, almost nothing is a spot zoning. I mean, basically, unless there's discriminatory intent there, that I'm discriminating in favor of somebody to create the zoning, pretty much, you can rezone inside of an existing area, one parcel, that's not spot zoning.
Okay. So we don't have a spot zoning
No.
issue here.
We're fine.
Okay, thank you.
Again, anyone here to speak, yea or nay in regards to this, zoning? I hereby close this public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant conditional use for that.
Motion to duly made, that's second.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Okay, now we get to go into closed session.
All right. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Appomattox County desires to discuss in closed meeting the following matters: discussion, consideration, the assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees or employees of the public body with respect to law enforcement. Discussion concerning respective business or industry where no previous announcement is made of the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community. In consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by the public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel concerning law enforcement. And whereas pursuant to section 2.2, 3711A1, A5, and A8 of the Code of Virginia, such discussions may occur in closed meeting. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Appomattox County is hereby authorized discussion of aforesaid matters in closed meeting. Need that as a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will adjourn to the closed session.